Okay, and welcome to some commentary. Hopefully, you guys were enjoying the little music we had going on there. I want to pop in and kind of talk about what's going on and give you guys some updates on both this series and Chinook Valley to kind of make sure you guys are in the loop on what we're doing over here. So the upcoming schedule for the next few episodes of Chinook and San Seguro will likely be small-ish projects, stuff that I can try and pre-record. I'm leaving the country for about 2 weeks and about a week and a half now. So I'm going to try and get as much footage as I can recorded, so that I can upload the videos and have them launched, so you guys can have something to watch while I'll be out of the country. Hopefully I can get an episode 1 of Chinook and 1 of San Seguro, so over the 2 weeks that I'm gone, you guys will have some videos. There's likely a chance that one of those will not make it just because of time constraints, but I'm going to try my best. So hopefully we won't miss anything, but if we do, I'll go ahead and pre-apologize for it. So I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a little bit of my plans, really, for what we got going on here in San Seguro. We're likely going to continue on with infrastructure builds. I want to get that done before we really start touching on anything else. So we'll probably in the next episode go into doing like the downtown core, and then we'll start doing like more of a downtown design. I will likely finish the infrastructure off camera. This is a pretty infrastructure heavy episode, and I'm sure some of you guys like watching me lay down highways, but I feel like if I do 2 episodes in a row of highway building, you guys might get a little annoyed. Just because, it takes a long time to edit these, and I want to make sure that you guys have some content that's actually enjoyable. While I love infrastructure, everyone might not. And then I think I'm going to tackle probably one of the harbors. And then we'll likely do the episode where I do, I think I talked about this in the live mode, so you might hear me talk about it again. But I want to do an episode kind of devoted to doing a California 1 style coastal road. Actually, I'm going to call it California 1 because in my mind this is in California on the coast, so the California 1 would definitely run through this. So we'll do like a really cool kind of coastal theme, and kind of do like a like a decorating and stuff in that kind of style, and design the road in the kind of style that California 1 is, and maybe kind of talk about the maybe I'll open up a Wikipedia page and talk about what California 1 is and how it came about, that kind of stuff. Because it's a really cool drive. I love that drive. I also want to give you guys a quick update on what's going on in Chinook Valley, because I have been touching on it. I have been getting footage. I just haven't talked about it too much. The next episode that I put out, which will likely come out when I'm out of the country, will be a suburban expansion episode. I think that's kind of what I want to do. I want to get out of the downtown of Chinook because the frame rates are just atrocious there, and kind of start doing some different style stuff in Chinook. And speaking on frame rate issue, I'm actually kind of confused because I have like one of the best processors that AMD makes, the 8350. I have one of the best graphics cards that they make, the R9 290X. Well, it was the best about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago now. But it's still an amazing card. And then I also have like 32 gigs of RAM, and I still only see like on empty San Seguro max, if I'm looking at like the grass, I see like 55, 60 frames per second. Even just like looking at the highway, like it's like 35, 40 when I'm running the simulation. So it's really kind of annoying that I'm having this issue. I'm not sure what it is. It could be that I have a bunch of mods. I'm running quite a bit of mods. Maybe I should go in and kind of get rid of some of them. I was hoping, I just upgraded my processor from the 6350 to the 8350, so I added 2 extra cores and a couple more clocks of speed. So I'm not sure what's causing it. Maybe it could be one of the mods, it could be something else, who knows. I'll continue to look at it, so I'll keep you guys up to date on that. But I really, maybe one of you guys might know what's going on. Maybe someone else who uses AMD chips can tell me if it's something that has to do with the processors that we use, or if it's just something else entirely that I'm not even thinking of. If you have an idea, feel free to leave me a comment or tweet at me, and I'll likely take your advice because I want it to get fixed. So yeah. And then I also want to touch on scale, since we're actually building one of our intersections right now on the time lapse. It's a big interchange. It's a big interchange. even for city scale, it's a pretty large interchange, and I kind of want that. I want this part, the east side of San Seguro, to feel kind of sprawling. So I am taking a lot of inspiration from the East Bay area of San Francisco, the Bay Area, that kind of stuff. And I know I've said that before. Like I am getting a lot of inspiration from the Bay Area. And so my idea is, while it might look a little weird right now, since it is kind of just it looks like a gigantic interchange with heavy amounts of traffic, capability in like an empty, dead area right now. Remember that, this is going to be a really sprawling city, in my opinion. So the interchange might not look so out. It won't look so out of place when we start, building around it and put some population there, and there's actually some traffic flowing through it. I'm really excited. I'm actually, so if you might, you'll see at the end, the traffic starts flowing through our double-decker expressway we have in the downtown island, or not the downtown like peninsula thingy. Because it looks so awesome. I love that I was able to get that double-decker highway in there. It looks so good. Definitely heavy inspired by the old Embarcadero freeway that got torn down after the 1989 earthquake in San Francisco. It was a double-decker highway that kind of went along where on the waterfront, pretty much, of San Francisco. It actually, it's a good thing it got demolished, because it took it ruined the view of the bay. If you were in downtown San Francisco, you just looked at a highway, which it had its purposes, but it's a good thing that got put away, which is why I kind of designed, I like the idea, so I designed one in San Seguro. I made it not on the waterfront. I kind of had it cut across the city, and then it rides the hills to the west side of the city, because I did not want a freeway going through downtown, like on the core. I wanted to kind of have, I'm doing an avenue that's going to break off of the freeways, kind of go through downtown, kind of similar to how the Embarcadero is, but not quite the same because of just the way it is. But I think it looks really cool, and once I can't wait to show you guys that once I finish it. So yeah, I'm gonna let you guys finish off the time lapse, have a little bit of music, so you guys can enjoy it. But yeah, hopefully you guys are enjoying this new series. I know I'm having a lot of fun making it. It's nice to kind of step away. I was having a lot of creative block in Chinook Valley because I was limiting myself based on like the theme I was going for. And while that's not a bad thing, definitely having a theme is a good thing in my opinion. It was kind of difficult to have cool ideas and then have them kind of shoot them down myself because they didn't fit in the theme I was going for. So I'm really happy that I'm able to do this. This is going to be, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm having a lot of fun with it, which is what you want. You want to play the game to have fun. So hopefully you guys are enjoying it. Hopefully I didn't catch too many people off guard when I announced a new series. It's definitely, it's been a fun ride so far. Which actually reminds me, I'm going to touch on the name real quick before I let you guys go back into the time lapse. I did get some interesting comments on YouTube after launching it about the name, San Seguro. So if you read my YouTube comments, my replies back, you would have seen me say that what I did was I kind of used Google Translate. I found a word in Spanish that means safe, seguro, in the adjective form at least. I am not a native Spanish speaker, so please, if you are a native Spanish speaker and you feel offended by my terrible pronunciation of your language, I'm going to go ahead and apologize because it's going to be bad. I promise you that. But I found the word and I liked it. I'm well aware that the correct grammatical usage of it would have been to use the los, similar to like Los Angeles, because that would be the would be like the safe kind of deal. Better than San safe, because if you don't know, San means saint in Spanish. So realistically, this kind of translates in directly to English to saint safe. And that does sound dumb. So in my head, and you can disagree with me if you want, but in my head, there was someone for whom this bay was named. At least in my head, his last name was Seguro. Sure, that probably is unlikely since that in the adjective form means safe. Still, just think about some of the names in English. You have Smith, which is one of the most popular names, comes from Smith work, so like metalwork. It's not, it wouldn't be, I feel like, too much of a stretch to say that that's a thing, but that's what it is in my head. It's named after somebody. I found the name safe and I like it a lot, but in my head it's named after somebody. So take that with what you will. I'm sure I might get some more comments about that. I'm not opposed to you guys, sending me comments and saying, hey, this doesn't sound right. I will totally talk to you about my thought process and my ideas. Obviously, I'm not going to change it. It's set in stone. I actually like it. That's why I went with San instead of Los. Los Seguro sounded weird in my head. San Seguro sounded perfect when I said it out loud. Even then I knew it would probably get a little bit of flack, but I mean, I think I even said in the comments I knew the name was going to get flack. But it doesn't matter. Like, I mean, that's what we do in America. If you look at something like Los Angeles, that's terribly pronounced. That's pronounced nothing like you would pronounce it in Spanish. If you look at something like look at St. Augustine in Florida, obviously we changed San for Saint because that was a Spanish town, but we kept Augustine. So it's just kind of how it is. Americans, we take over a city that we didn't start, and then we just keep the name, but we change the pronunciation. I feel like we've been doing that now for a very long time. So yeah, hopefully you guys understand where I'm coming from with that. Again, feel free to leave me some comments or tweet at me. I'm happy to talk about it, and kind of let you guys know my thought process behind what I'm doing. And maybe you guys can give me some insights. Maybe you can even kind of help me develop a backstory around it. But I think I like the idea of the bay being named for somebody whose name was Seguro. At least that's how it goes in my head. Again, that could be the stupidest sounding explanation in the world, but still, it's how I've got it in my head. Again, so now we're coming to the end of the time lapse. I think there's about, well, not really the end. There's about 6 or 7, actually more like 5 minutes left. So, like I said, I will leave you guys with some music, and I will see you guys in the live mode to kind of go over what we built, to give you a little bit of a tour, and then as always, you'll get some nice pretty cinematics from me at the end, and yeah, so hopefully you guys enjoy the rest of the episode. All right, and here we are, back in live mode. I'm really happy with the way this is coming together. It's just looking super awesome. We got this double-decker highway coming in. We have an intersection over here, which I actually modeled after a real-life intersection here in the Bay Area. This is actually the intersection. It's similar to the. It's a little bit different, but it's similar to the intersection where California 92 meets 101, the San Mateo Bridge. So I think it looks pretty good. It's really compact and it fits well, I think, into an urban environment. And this is going to be the intersection that will eventually lead over towards our airport, which is why it's kind of high flow. So that's what we've done this far. I realize this episode's very time-lapse heavy, very infrastructure, but that's kind of what I wanted. I wanted to get like a base infrastructure going and get some intersections good so we can build around them, because I don't like having stuff built and then having to tear it all down to put intersections around, which is how it's done in real life, but I wanted to kind of plan ahead, kind of, sort of, if that makes any sense. I still haven't connected these two, and I will eventually do that. I'm going to wind it through here somehow. I just haven't figured out which way to go and how to terraform around it. But that's what we're going to do. I also am going to do something really excited. I'm going to have definitely one episode devoted to California 1, because in my mind, this is a California coastal city, meaning the California 1 would totally run through here. So obviously not true to life, but the idea is California 1 is a coastal, so I've terraformed the map a little bit more to kind of, so you guys can see, and I kind of terraformed these coastlines to get a little bit more California cliff look to them. I think it comes off really nice. And I made a little beach here, so I'm thinking like maybe a beach town Santa Cruz-esque thing, kind of in this general vicinity. But that brings me back to the California 1. So my thought is California 1 will be a national road. It'll come in. I'm not sure where I'm going to bring it in at. I might terraform somewhere else, but right now my thought is that it'll bridge across this. Like I said, I haven't decided yet. I would cut this off and like connect these two, but I have a freight line coming in this way, as this is like the main entrance from the ocean. I could move that freight line down here, but I feel like this is the bigger entrance. It makes more sense. I could just delete this one, and there's already one coming in here, so just pretend like the bay entry's up this way. We'll see. Or maybe I'll do a tunnel. We'll see how it goes. But my thought is that California 1 comes through what is going to be a national forest. This is definitely going to be a national forest. And it's going to cut through here. I've already kind of given it kind of a guide for terraforming. It'll cut across to here. It will meet the interstate, and California 1 will run, it'll probably run next to, probably like a local road, but the interstate will have like come in and replaced it for a piece. It will run down, and then it'll come to about here. It will split, become a national road again, come through our little beach town, which is my idea. Obviously, it'll have its own exit. The beach town will have its own entrance onto the freeway. And then it will run kind of along this side, where the freeway is running on this side, more inland. It'll run on this side, kind of through the mountains, wind through there, and then it'll probably meet with this national road here, which connects to the freeway. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. I want to devote a full episode to that. I think it'll be really cool. We can even talk about California 1, kind of do some Wikipedia reading about it and kind of get some inspiration. But I think that'll be a really cool episode. So I'll probably do that in a little bit. Just kind of do something like that. I think that'll be really neat. And yeah, so we have this interstate kind of running through what is going to be the meat of the city, but realistically, it's kind of avoiding, kind of similar to what 80 does in San Francisco. It avoids kind of the downtown, so downtown is going to be here. This is where I want to put downtown, and you can see I have reference points. This is going to be the reference of the grid in that part of the city, and the reason I did that is because I want it to look kind of broken from the sky. It gives it a little bit more character. It also is easier to look at. When you have one big grid kind of all across this, it looks really weird. So having the ability to break that grid up is really cool. So it'll come, this grid will be over here, and it will meet this grid, and then this grid will meet these two, and these two will obviously meet kind of in the middle. That's my thought. I haven't decided if I'm gonna like have them meet kind of all at once or have it like a intermediary street with like crazy intersections. We'll see. I haven't got that far yet. My thought is that as I start expanding the grids, I'll see where they're gonna meet and then I'll decide then. But I think it'll be really cool. And so what we're gonna do is this is gonna be kind of like our downtown main skyline area. I'm thinking this will have like kind of like not a seawall, but one of those like park seawalls that kind of runs around like this, and it will end up at our ferry building. So we're gonna have a ferry building here because I'm actually really excited. I'm gonna get that mod that lets you do local ferries, so you can take a ferry from here over across the bay, something like that. I think it'll be really cool looking. I also want to talk to you guys about the two bridges here. So we have two. We have this bridge and this bridge. We also have this bridge over here, but it doesn't really connect to the city. It's more of a connecting this suburb to kind of this rural area. That's my thought, at least. We might add. I'm not going to do any more bridges coming from this side of the bay to this side. This is it. Not going to do any tunnels either. This is going to be the only traffic connection. I want this to kind of look heavy. That's the whole point. And you can see I've already laid down, been playing with the Metro Overhaul mod, so I already have the tunnel under this side. For that, I haven't done it on this side yet, but I will eventually. I really like how this came out. This is really cool. This obviously is inspired by Treasure Island in San Francisco. The bridge comes through, runs to a mini tunnel, comes back out on another bridge side. I was going to do another suspension bridge different from this one, but it wasn't a long enough stretch, so I just went with the basic elevated. I might change it for the default suspension bridge because I think it might not hurt, especially since these two are relatively lined up. Actually, you know what? I'm just gonna real quick. Let's see how it looks if we do it for these. Let's just see what happens if we do it for these three segments right here. Let's do a little upgrade to bridge. Oh, you know what? It's because the 4-lane, or is this a 4-lane, or is this the 5-lane? I don't think the 5-lane actually has a, we don't, let's find out. Yeah, I don't think it doesn't have an asset. It just does that. Because I think it's because I'm using the, well, that's weird. You know what? Let's try this, actually. I think I know what's up. We might have to actually drag it across to get the suspension. Yep, it's exactly what we have to do. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the 4. Perfect. So we'll just do the same thing over here. That's the 4. And hopefully it lines up just perfect. Yeah, I think that looks better. It is the default bridge, but we can use the default bridge. It's not a bad bridge, it's just, it gets repetitive. But since this will be the only place we use it, I think it looks good, especially compared to the suspension bridge over here. Yeah, I think that looks really cool. And don't mind that blue, we'll end up fixing that, don't worry about it. Yeah, so I want these two bridges to be the only way in and out of the city by car, unless you run down the backbone here, this freeway, and people will. It'll be. I'm imagining this kind of like, this isn't obviously like similar to the Golden Gate in San Francisco, but it is kind of be a less traveled kind of route. It's a smaller. I want to say it's only 2 lanes, 2-lane highway over here. Yeah, so it's a 2-lane highway running down here, and I think it looks good. Another thing I want to touch on real quick is freight coming into the city. So lots of car freight, and then we have our rail freight. And I don't think I put this in the time lapse because I think I made this off camera. But this bridge is really awesome. Huh? I thought I fixed that. I'll have to come back and fix that. But I have 2 train lines because this is a double-decker bridge. So the train lines are on the bottom and the roadways on the top here. So one of these is going to be a freight line. One of these is going to be a passenger line. And they come over here and they split, and they actually have this really awesome rail interchange that I designed. So here, there's a crossover just in case it needs to, but I just did that just in case. I don't think it will actually use it at all. But I figured there would totally be a switchback on right there at the beginning of the bridge. So this is the freight. It runs this way along the toll plaza and along the freeway. Once it meets it, it just follows the freeway. That's the freight line. And then the passenger line splits off this way, goes over here, and is running on this side, and it stops right here, but it's going to continue running on this side closer to the lake, because my thought is the lake will have some kind of villages around it, so it'll have like a passenger line. I'm not going to utilize the heavy rail that much in this city. I feel like it's not what they would do, to be quite honest. So right now this is a regular heavy rail for passenger, and it might actually just go to the downtown. It might actually just go to a train station, and that be it for international travel. And I might have it like do a transfer station to the metro overhaul mod, maybe running into the suburbs down here from the city. That might be the way I do it, which is kind of why I stopped here, because I have no idea what I'm going to do with it yet. And then obviously it goes to this connection here, which is a single connection. It splits. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at over here. And we have the rail right here coming in for heavy rail. My thought is like, we'll have a big train station probably in this urban downtown. And that's the other thing I want to talk about. There's going to be 3 kind of cores. They'll be all kind of small just to keep, the assets kind of okay. But one is going to be over in this general vicinity. Our main one, San Seguro, is here. And we'll also have one kind of over here. I think I have them with districts. Yeah. So you see I have districts kind of laid out for where I want things, just so I can keep tabs on it. The other thing is the airports. This is probably going to be a smaller airport, and this will be our bigger airport. I think that's a really cool idea. I really like the idea. Maybe this was the original airport. Think of this as like London Gatwick, and think of this as London Heathrow. It'll be much bigger. I think that's a really cool idea. And I'm also going to do 2 harbors. So one over on this side of the bay and one on this side of the bay. I think that I want this one to be bigger, newer, and this one will be a little bit older, but still kind of used. And then definitely going to do a ferry here, and like a ferry down here, and a ferry down here, and probably a ferry over here somewhere. I'm not sure yet, and probably one over here. Yeah, I'm going to do quite a few ferries, actually. I think that's a really cool idea, is to have those ferries kind of running local traffic instead of international traffic, or both, actually. So yeah, that's what I wanted to cover. I know this episode didn't really make much progress on the city, but it took a long time, especially designing the interchanges, just because I wanted them to look realistic. Like this one over here looks really awesome. I love how it came out, and how you have like they both come into the toll plaza, and then they reconnect back this way. And I love how kind of wide they are. I really like how much space they take up. I think that was a really cool idea. And I really like how I had the room to put up some more, like to put this direction going onto this side of the freeway and going this way. But I felt like it was already kind of spaghetti junctioned, and I felt like maybe this used to be maybe it used to be the interchange, and they kind of deleted the parts that they didn't need anymore, that this one took over, but they left these 2. I'm not really sure, but I kind of like it. It just looks a little bit better. I don't know, it's visually pleasing to me, put it that way. And so I should explain this freeway. This is going to be like a true freeway, like doesn't leave the state. It's not an interstate. It is technically going to be an interstate. It'll probably it'll be a 3-digit, so it'll be like probably like 460 or something like that, whatever I decide to name them. But this one will run north and meet this one up here, and then this side will run down here. And my thought is it'll have a 3-way, probably a trumpet interchange leading off to this and then going out of town kind of deal. And then I think this smaller freeway will run into this downtown, loop around this way, and I think it's going to meet this here and then merge with this one. That's kind of my idea, which is why this is here. It's kind of temporary in my mind, because I haven't really decided where I'm going to bring that freeway in, because this is, I guess I'm being very heavily inspired by the Bay Area. So this is kind of like the San Jose, which has a ton of freeways. It's very LA-esque in its design, unlike San Francisco. San Francisco has 80 and 101 and 280. And like 80 and 101 meet each other, so they're technically the same thing if you think about it. And then 280 like comes in from like the west side of the town, for Daly City, meets 80 or 101 at that point, and then it just kind of goes into downtown, and then it ends onto King Street, which is kind of cool. So that's kind of what I'm doing up here, kind of keeping it out of the downtown. But in this one, I'm definitely going to have it kind of circle the downtown and be an LA style thing. And this one will be kind of, it'll just have this one running through it. And that's my mind. I'll probably also do some other tunnels through these mountains to come out to the farms. I feel like that's a really cool idea. And just give it some more outside connection. We'll probably have a national road running down this way. I think that'll be pretty cool. So yeah, that's where we're at. And I want to thank you for watching this episode. If you're liking what we're doing so far in San Seguro, don't forget to press that like button. It helps a lot. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. If you do subscribe, you might want to also press the little bell so you get notified whenever I upload a new episode. If you're new to my channel and are liking this series, I recommend you also check out my Chinook Valley series as well. It's a smaller city set in the American Southeast. And if you want to stay up to date with what's going on in either San Seguro or Chinook Valley, or just with what's going on with me, feel free to follow me on Twitter, cogwheel_YT. I make sure to respond to all my tweets and on my YouTube comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.